The reason I have two businesses is because Daniel Priestley said you'll be able to run 5 or 6 businesses with AI. So when you're doing something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. It does seem a little bit crazy. I guess it's a little bit like having babies. I launched 2 businesses and I got completely overwhelmed within 3 weeks. I would actually say that AI is less helpful to me right now. AI is unreliable and it does hallucinate. Sitting and researching your competitors, going on their websites, following them on social media, there's a benefit to that. I can tell that it's fake. It's totally inauthentic. It makes me really, really just like the person. More listicles that just summarize what everybody else said in their listicles. Like, that's not what the internet needs at the moment. It doesn't mean that I ever get the GPT to produce the content for me. Often I gain a lot of followers for the most controversial posts. And then somebody else said to me on Wednesday, I'm surprised you haven't been cancelled yet.
All right. Yet another episode of C2C, Coach to Coach Central, where I have raw and honest conversations with other coaches and subject matter experts. And, again, I know I keep saying it. I have very, very special and dear guest, Heather, and I will explain in a second why Heather is a very special guest. Hi, Heather. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Lydia. Thanks for having me.
So we were classmates and Executive MBA, London Business School, and that was ages ago.
A long time ago.
So we know each other a long time. But more than that, we were in one small group. So our class, 77 people, I think, it was divided into small groups. And the whole first year, there were, in all the classes, there were individual assignments and group assignments. So the whole first year of our MBA, we were doing group assignments together. We were in the same group. I was always amazed, by Heather, because already at that time, I was corporate person, and she had her own business. And I was so I admired that she managed all of that, managed her business, managed MBA. And I was, Heather, you were always someone I looked up to. And eventually I left corporate and became a business person because of you.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice to hear. Didn't feel like I was worth looking up to at that stage in my life, I must admit.
No, absolutely. What you did, something special. You took the opportunity to apply the knowledge that you learned in that class and to use the expertise of that professor, because one of the benefits of MBA, I know there are a lot of discussion. Is it worth it? Is it too expensive? It is bloody expensive. But what you did, you took the knowledge from the class and the professor and applied it to your business. I remember you coming to a professor with your business saying, hey, these are my numbers, or this is my marketing plan on, whatever the class was. You were always applying that knowledge right away to your business.
I had actually completely forgotten about that. I used to treat the professors as my consultants for free. I mean, they weren't free because it wasn't free, but
Absolutely. A lot happened since then. Where are you now?
So now I'm back to the very beginning and I'm starting 2 new businesses at the same time, which I haven't done in a very long time. The last time I started a business was 2008. And now I'm starting from scratch again and everything's changed. The landscape has changed. I've changed. But my 2 businesses they don't seem like they're related, but they are related. One of them is a company that helps small businesses design their exit. So I noticed that in my journeys in my previous role, we acquired lots of businesses, and I noticed that small business owners were often not as well prepared for a sale as they could have been. So my mission is to educate more small business owners on what it actually means to sell your business. And that's partly how to do a deal, the finances of a deal, what value is, and that sort of thing, but also the kind of emotional and human side of selling your business, which everybody overlooks. So it's educating them and then helping them. They can appoint me to help them design their exit. And I think every business should be built to sell, even the ones that you want to keep forever. That's my first business. So my second business is called The Humans in the Loop and the AI Edit. And that is a community for people who want to become AI super users, who want to use AI to its maximum ability to improve their lives and their careers, and who want to do it ethically and fairly and think about it in the most ethical and fair way.
All right. So you didn't know this, but while Heather was describing her, what she's doing right now, my internet decided to go down. So she was talking, and my computer, I had to restart the whole thing. And I want to start from here because this is the life of the solopreneur, of the business owner, right? These things happen, and you say you started a business, at least that's what I've heard from your whole speech. Again, since long time ago. Why on earth you doing this? It is so stressful. I just went through this stressful moment where I'm having my amazing guest, I'm interviewing, and then I'm not hearing what they're saying. My computer is down, my internet is down. And this is not a rare thing, right?
No.
Every day something happens, something like this, or not so much. Why on earth you decided you want to start two businesses, not just one?
I know.
Two of them. Again, tell me why.
It does seem a little bit crazy. I guess it's a little bit like having babies. You have a baby and then you're like, I'm never going through that again. And then 2 years later, you're doing it again. And I don't know why, but you do. I always wanted to work for myself. I like being accountable to myself. I like the freedom of being able to do what I want to do in the business, take the risks in the business, and not really having to worry about other shareholders or a boss or anything like that. And you can probably notice that on my LinkedIn. I'm very vocal. I'm very honest on LinkedIn. I'm quite controversial on LinkedIn. And I couldn't be that if I was in a job. But I think I say a lot on LinkedIn, on social media, that other people would like to say, but don't say because they've got a boss or a shareholders or a board to think about. So there's this immense freedom in starting out on your own. That said, last time I started a business, it was 2008, and things were very different for me.
The crisis
it was
here,
the
by
start
the
of a
way.
crisis, and it was very, very hard. But I was young, and it didn't matter if it failed because I had the rest of my life to make it work. And I didn't have big commitments or anybody depending on me. I didn't even have a cat at that stage. That was before my cat. So I had lots and lots of freedom. And
well, now you have more than just a cat,
now
right?
I have more than just a cat. I'm not just
husband,
a curator
kids
of up and coming art. I have kids. I have a cat. I have a dog. I have mortgages. I have all these things now. But I love the idea of working for myself. And this is the first time I have started a business in a field I'm very, very passionate about. And in both of the fields that I'm working in, I have a lot of passion. So the one is helping small businesses succeed, preserve their legacy, thrive, not sell to private equity if they can avoid it, because I think private equity is very negative, but just achieve what they worked so hard for. And I think that the advice that small businesses get is really, really mixed. And that's me being generous. I think a lot of it is terrible. And so I want to help more small businesses be successful because I want to walk down my high street and I don't want to see a whole bunch of betting shops and Costa and Starbucks and Pret. I want to see small independent businesses that are the heart of the community. I'm extremely passionate about that. On the AI side, I'm not remotely passionate about AI. I'm more terrified of AI than anything else. But I look around and I see everybody adopting AI, not much thought, not much kind of planning or strategy going into it, just, oh, ChatGPT can do this, so I'll let it do that. And I'm very passionate about making the AI adoption more thoughtful, more strategic, and more ethical, and being able to kind of do that at scale. So that's why my AI business. When you're doing something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. And I
Right.
wasn't passionate about my last business, so it's wonderful to be purpose-led and passionate for a change.
Right. So I call it like the first reason you said, because you really love the freedom, not having a boss, the freedom to do and to say what you want. I call
Mm.
it the entrepreneurship bite or the bug, like a
Mm.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think I'm like that. Once I tried it, so hot. And I have a job right now, right? And because I need, before my business grows to the stage where I can fully invest in it. But I debated, like, I have so much going on. Look, I live in a country with a war.
Mm.
I have family with their own kind of difficulties and a job. Well, maybe I put my business on pause, and then I'm like, I just can't. So I call it the entrepreneurship bug or bite, whatever you want to call it. Once you got it, it's really cool feeling that it's hard to let go. Again, if
Absolutely.
you need to that's what I tell my clients a lot. If you need to do it in parallel with your job for a while, it's totally okay. It's totally
Mhm.
okay. You just need to figure out, you will go slower, obviously, right? You
Yeah.
will go slower, and then you will have to maybe give up something for a while, like
Mhm.
Netflix or meeting friends every weekend or whatever.
Mhm.
But you don't have to give up, because I agree with you, Heather. It's the feeling of doing something you're so passionate about, and the freedom to make any direction, to say what you want, how you want it, is just amazing. So and I hope more people, because that's what you're doing, you're also empowering more people to start the businesses, both in both of your
Yeah.
new businesses. Let's switch gears, and I really want to focus on the AI for a while, right?
Mhm.
I'm super excited to see the opening of the club, and I'll be the first one, or
Yeah.
among the first one to join, because I think we coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, we can benefit a lot from AI. I use AI every day to help me draft letters, to help me create landing pages, sales pages, to help me create lead magnet, to help me create materials, presentation. There is so much it can help us with. So
Yeah.
I want to learn more about it, and that's why I'm super excited to join the club. But I love your approach, and I want to hear more about it, that people don't like, people go into it without thinking about the dangers, what we shouldn't do, what we should be careful about. So I know it's a broad question, but let's start with the good. Let's start with the positive. How it's helping you right now. Let's be practical. Like, how do you use, in building your two businesses, how do you use AI today in
Yeah.
everyday life?
I'm obviously quite a heavy AI user, but also quite a responsible AI user. And I would actually say that AI is less helpful to me right now than I thought it would be. And I think that that is partly because in my mind, the long term vision that I can see is there are so many things that I do at the moment where I'm like, I could get an AI agent to do that. I could get, I could streamline this process, I could improve this process, but it's not quite there and it's not quite that easy to do it. And everyone's just like, oh, build an agent on Replit. But it's not quite that easy. And I like AI is unreliable and it does hallucinate, and you do need to um, manage or babysit it, which is what somebody said to me recently. And so you've got to be kind of quite careful. But that said, there are certain areas of my life where I iterate with AI and improve um, what I'm doing with AI or save myself time with AI. So, as
Right.
example, I do a lot of content and I've spent a lot of time training a custom GPT, my voice, the way that I like to speak, the way that I like to phrase things and stuff. And that doesn't mean that I ever, ever, ever get the GPT to produce the content for me. I come up
Sure.
with the ideas, I come up with what I want to say, I tell the GPT, and then I get it to improve and enhance. So we co-create together. And I do that in kind of lots of areas of my life. But I'm also finding that often I think I could probably just get this automated. And then I look into it and I'm
Mm.
like, the process of automating this, either I've got to pay for this tool, which is expensive. I mean,
Yep.
it's not expensive, but you're
Yeah.
automating
It just
such a
adds
tiny
up. It's add
process
up.
and they add up. Exactly. Or there's always going to be a manual step, or at the moment, there's a manual step. So, my goal is to become a super user on all these tools as they exist right now. And then as they improve, I get better at using them. And to share that with people so that we can be at the forefront of the people who are benefiting from AI. And
Right.
we can scale ourselves. We can do more. We can run 3 or 4 businesses. And I like the reason I have 2 businesses is because Daniel Priestley said, well, you'll be able to run 5 or 6 businesses with AI. So I launched 2 businesses and I got completely overwhelmed within 3 weeks. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm doing more than I could have done before with AI, but I'm also relying on humans, editors, social media posters, or services that use AI for their specific thing so they
Yeah.
can do it faster and cheaper with the AI that they've trained. But we're not at the point yet
No.
where you can run 1 million businesses off of AI. Yes, we'll get there, and I want to be ready to pick that delicious fruit off that tree when it ripens. But we are not there yet, and I think that
Right.
that's something that people don't really understand. They
Hmm.
either just outsource everything to AI and it's actually not very good,
Hmm.
or they're like, no, this isn't actually helping me, and they step back. But actually, there's this gradual, iterative process where you just get better and better. And the reason I want to share that with a community is that at the moment, the way to learn about AI is to take a course, but the courses are out of date. They are
Yeah.
always out of date. If you publish a course
Yeah.
and
Even
it's
if we
out of
create it
date,
yesterday, it's already out of
it's
date.
already out of date. So you need to kind of be doing it together with other people who are
Right.
doing it, where you can share ideas or ask questions or share your prompt, and somebody can say, oh, well, actually, I used that prompt and I didn't get such a good result.
Right.
So I tweaked this and then my results improved. So just
Yeah.
other people who are thinking about this and sharing their knowledge.
Same. Cool. Okay, I have a few questions, and I have a cool example. I was doing a presentation. I start with a story.
Mm-hmm.
We all love stories. So I was doing presentation on Tuesday, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use AI. I always create my presentation by hand,
Mm-hmm.
but I've learned, AI can do it perfect. And I use ChatGPT for a lot of my
Yeah.
content. So, and there is a lot of project knowledge. It knows my voice. So I'm like, create my presentation. Gave the structure, the details. Again, I always, just like you, the ideas, the structure, the what needs to go in, it's always mine. I never outsource that. But then I ask them, create me outline, right? And it created, and then ChatGPT asked me, do you want me to create a draft Canva presentation? I'm like, yes, please do this.
Brilliant.
I'd
Do
love
it.
this. They did. Here's the link. I click. What do I get? Error 404. And I'm like, hey, there is a mistake. It's like, okay, hold on, wait 10 minutes or 5 minutes. It will appear. I waited. Nothing. And it keeps telling me, oh, it's there. Like, it's there. Just click. It's an editable Canva presentation already done and ready for you to edit. Like, it took me about half an hour. I'm like, for this half an hour, I would probably, created a good part of this bloody presentation. And I got so upset. And it's like, well, it's not working. ChatGPT told me it's not working. Let me create a PDF version for you and put it in a Google Drive. I'm like, sure, do that. And it was already, I didn't want that actually, because I wanted editable version, but I thought, okay, let's see what happens. And it says, here's the link to the Google Drive. Nothing, error. So it just keeps telling me these hallucinations and keeps convincing me that he can do this, or he or she or it can do this. No, it can't. Whatever is the reason, it can't. So I think knowing this and having the opportunity to go to the community that you're creating, Heather, and say, hey guys, I'm experiencing this for the last whatever 10 minutes. Is it like, what's going on? Have you encountered something like that? What are some other cool applications that you use AI today in your building these two businesses?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think writing is the biggest one because I produce so much content. And then in terms of the actual content production and the editing and the AI transcripts, that's incredibly valuable. And then I use a couple of tools where people do the scheduling and stuff for me, but I know that they are very, very much AI enabled. Then image production, social posting, and all of that stuff. And then I do a lot with Zapier, connecting different apps together and custom GPTs or, connecting ChatGPT to other apps or whatever, just to make your workflows more efficient. So those are probably my main areas. I am trying to build an agent on Replit that can help me with media outreach. I'm quite far from being able to do that at the moment because it's not picking up what I need it to pick up at the moment. But I'm trying to build it so that it can basically take the angles, the thought leadership angles that I want to talk about, and find the journalists that are writing about it, and then help me reach out to them. But I'm not there yet, and I'm also I don't trust it to connect it to things like email and that sort of thing. I'm a very cautious and skeptical person. And then in my personal life, I use it for meal planning and for learning. If there's something that I want to learn, then I might get it to kind of help me chunk it down. I'm also considering building a Replit app to help me get better at poker, but we'll see what happens.
Better at poker?
At poker, yes.
Oh, that's fun. All right. Okay, so writing is the big space. I agree. I use it for all content, whether it's a script for the video, whether it's the helping me writing the email, the sales copy and stuff like that. I'm thinking, what are some of the other areas that I can use it better? One that I've heard is doing some research for you, because I think what we don't do enough as, coaches, as people who don't have the heavy marketing background, we don't do enough customer research because it's you need to know how to do it, and it's laborious, it takes time. So what I've heard that definitely AI can help you get your potential customer insights. Do you use it for this?
No, because I don't trust it. I think too many people use it for research, take the responses as gospel, even though I think that they're probably hallucinated. Particularly, you said that you use ChatGPT. It knows a lot about you and your projects and stuff. It's going to tell you what you want to hear. So hallucinations and sycophancy are two big issues with these large language models. They're sycophantic. They tell you what you want to hear. Their goal is to provide an answer that's acceptable to you rather than to provide an answer that's true. And often, even if you ask for sources, ask it to reference sources.
Yeah, that's what I do. I ask them, provide links where you got the
But then
information.
you've got to
That's
go
what I
and
do.
click on the links, and most of the time, it'll say, this is from this link. You click on the link, and it's not. There's no connection. So the link is provided. So I feel like it's not a good use of time. I know a lot of people do, and I know that the language models are getting better. But I also think that research is an exercise worth doing in itself. It's not about the end goal. It's about educating yourself and reading and looking at things. So, I have, if somebody sends me, oh, this is a breakdown of all of our clients of all of our competitors provided by ChatGPT, I tend to be quite skeptical. If someone's like, oh, these are all of my competitors and these are their strengths and weaknesses, based on what? And sitting and researching your competitors, going on their websites, following them on social media, there's a benefit to that. And having when I started my business, I built a competitor map. And every day I researched a competitor. I went through their website. I looked at their social channels. I looked at what they were about, etc. That competitor map is of no use to me. I haven't used it for 5 months, but that process was extremely valuable to me, and I am better at what I do because of that process.
Yeah, I love this. Actually, I have the same attitude towards some of the automations. So, for example, I give you an example. I'm a habit coach. I think habits are the essence of our life. We're habitual creatures. But people like, oh, I'll create automation. So, for example, all my expenses automatically from the bank go to the spreadsheet. Well, I say it's really cool, but sometimes when I was working with some of my clients, when I was life coach helping with these areas, well, I actually asked my clients to manually go to the bank or to the receipts and manually enter those amounts into the spreadsheet. Same goes about the time, because I was like, okay, let's do the time journaling or time record. Let's do the expense record, because I think the process of doing it, like absolutely what you just said, because the process of no, you don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to do, of course, you're going to waste a lot of time doing this. But for a period of time, doing something manually, you can learn, you can observe your behavior. If we're talking about the time login or the expense login, and you can actually include the mindfulness, the pause. Why did I spend that money? Instead of the automatically things just go from your bank to your expense, and then at the end of the month, you're like, oh my God, where this comes from, right? So I totally agree. Some of the processes are worth automating, like things that are technical, like Zapier or any other automation tool. I think absolutely, if things are technical, repetitive, and make no value for you to do, absolutely automate them. But some of the things, and you're right, the competitor analysis, the customer insight research, while you do that, it's not the result, not just the result, but actually the process that can help you. So
exactly. And a lot of people are like automating their outreach. And I hate that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. This is
when I get a message on LinkedIn where I can just tell there's something totally inauthentic and fake about it. It's like, love what you're doing at one somebody. So it's basically just insert a compliment regarding something you spotted on the person's profile. And it's like, I can tell that it's fake. It's totally inauthentic. It makes me really, really dislike the person. I'm never going to engage with them because I'm just thinking, I'm just a number. You're just like, it's, and I'm not saying don't do outreach at scale, but I don't think that personalizing it to the point where it feels natural and authentic. I don't think that's ever going to work, because if it does work, everybody is going to send 1 million personalized outreach messages every single day. And we are going to be receiving millions every single day. And even if they're beautiful and personalized and unique and bespoke to us, doesn't matter. We're gonna be getting so many. So it's never going to work. And there's something about it that feels really.
I've been playing with it and looking at the tools that can help with outreach on LinkedIn and connecting on LinkedIn. I played with a couple of them, and then I just decided not to. I made the decision. I'd rather send 5 manual messages a day and leave 5 to 10 manual comments. And I also commenting, right? I know, Heather, you doing that as well. You doing commenting, but please don't use AI for commenting, because these comments are like, you can smell them from a mile away, right?
It's so boring. It's just like that. What AI does is it's summarizes its training data. So all it's doing is regurgitating what's already been said. And it's like, no one needs you to do that. The internet does not need more listicles that just summarize what everybody else said in their listicles. That's not what the internet needs at the moment. People don't need that. People need original thought.
Absolutely. So that's what we do. You do, I know you do, and I do. We just comment with our own stories. I think one thing to stand out, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's tell stories. I just told you a story that happened to me on Tuesday. I don't think AI could come up. Sometimes I ask AI come up with the story, and then I read that story. I'm like, oh my God,
No.
it's so fake. So tell a story, share your experience. And I think it applies for all content, to comments, and to posts, because I think we will see, unfortunately, more and more posts created by AI.
Yeah. And you can already see them. There's so many, and they're like, you can tell by the formatting, you can tell by the words that are used, you can tell by the tone, but you can just tell by the fact that they're boring. They're extremely dull. And you get these people on LinkedIn who suddenly someone in your network has decided that they're going to have a LinkedIn content strategy. And then for like 3 weeks, every day, they post something excruciatingly boring, and they just post. And then they come back and they're like, oh, only 2 people have liked my post. Why? And then the next day they post and 2 or 3 people like it. And they do that for 3 weeks. And then they're like, LinkedIn's pointless. And then they stop doing it. But it's like, firstly, you've got to say something worth listening to. And secondly, you can't just like post and then disappear. You need to engage with people. Like, you can't. It's such a weird attitude, this expectation.
People, I think, and it's been for a while. Again, clients come to me, coaches, like, I don't understand. I hate social media. I'm like, okay, well, let's go back to what is social media, right? It's supposed to be people talking to each other. It's not posting, and then waiting for what? For ovation. I think that's what people expect, that they're going to share a post and they get a lead, they get a comment, they get something, but it's not that. The idea behind social media, I think if we go back to that, original ideas, people talking to each other, sharing stories, commenting on each other. So crazy.
And I also think that people are now they'll find an influencer like Jasmine Alec, or Yasmin, I don't know how you pronounce it. They'll take some of his posts, they'll put it into ChatGPT, and they'll be like, make me some posts like that. But his posts work because they reflect who he is beautifully, and they're extremely authentic. If I posted his posts, people would be like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? That's not you. That's somebody else. You've got to work out who you are, what you stand for, and then go for it. Be confident.
I think, just finalizing that kind of part of the discussion, I think people are looking for viral formula. We've been in formula, and that's why they take in that viral posts of the influencers and then trying to create the same formula. I don't think the content that people connect are the specific structure or the specific hook or the specific something. I think a lot of this comes from the authenticity you said. Like, is this what people know this person is about? So it's like him or her talking from the true self. And also original opinions. Like you said, a lot of your content is, very opinionated, controversial, opinionated. It's not what everybody's saying. If you're gonna say what everybody's saying, I don't think, maximum you're gonna get a like. But you just need to develop a point of view. And I don't think AI can help you to develop that point of view.
No, it doesn't think. It absolutely doesn't think. Twice this week, somebody has said to me something about my LinkedIn content. Somebody said to me, I'm interested to know how your LinkedIn strategy is working out for you, because obviously you've posted things that people might, the implication was you've posted negative stuff. Are people going to be put off by that? And then somebody else said to me on Wednesday, I'm surprised you haven't been cancelled yet. And, but both of them noticed I've got their attention. And interestingly, the two pieces of business I have got off LinkedIn have come after I've posted something where I really hesitated before I posted. And I thought, is this going to be too controversial? Or is this are people going to get upset about this? And I thought, but it's true. It's what I really believe. I'm absolutely going to post it. And both of those, some people might see that and think, I would never post something that controversial on LinkedIn. And I wouldn't have when I was in a job, because, LinkedIn is kind of your professional persona.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is who I am. And every now and then I lose followers when I post on LinkedIn. But often I gain a lot of followers for the most controversial posts, because no one ever says anything controversial. Everyone's so vanilla on LinkedIn, and people think the stuff and they don't say it. They don't have the courage to say it, or they're not in a situation where they feel they can say it. So,
No, absolutely. I'm almost finished editing an episode with a coach that I think is gonna is gonna have a lot of emotions from some people, and I'm hesitating, what to keep, what to leave out. But what I see, he's very successful, and he's very opinionated, and he's sometimes say things that people don't like, but he's successful because I think. Absolutely. If you have your own opinion, you have way more chances to have people following you, people hiring you, So should definitely stay true to ourselves and attract people who share our values and attract people who share our opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah. We can't, we can't be liked by everyone. If we're liked by everyone, like you said, we're vanilla, and that means we're probably not gonna have success in business, unfortunately.
Absolutely. There's a quote, I'm going to find it because I love it, by this woman called, her name is, I think I've mentioned her to you before, her name is Kaja Urbank or something, and she's a dominatrix who is also she's a dominatrix who's also a Taoist monk, and she's written this book about power, and it's an absolutely fascinating book. And this is what she said. She said, name one good girl who changed the world. You can't, because she can't. It's the good girl's job to maintain the status quo. And it's true. Don't offend anybody. Don't say anything that's going to be, that anyone's going to take note of. Accommodate everyone. And you just, that can be you, but you'll never have any impact.
No, absolutely. And I have one of my favorite, it's a name of the book, and it's the quote, good girls go to heaven, bad girls go to whenever they want to go.
It's so true. I'm going to read that book.
It's a good book. But basically it's about how it's the patriarchy and how we were for centuries used to agreeing, to the
Yeah.
rules of the society, agreeing to what men says in the patriarchy world. And so the book is about standing out. This book is about how to treat yourself as, you don't have to follow all the rules. You can break them, and then you can do anything you want and
Yeah.
go anywhere you want. I think if you're a woman, it kind of went to a strange angle, but I think, and I'm going to say it, if you're a woman and you want to build a business, you need to, oh my God, you need to learn to stand out. You need to
Yeah.
learn to say no more often. That's what we started our conversation even before I hit record.
Yes.
You need to say no. You need to say your opinions, not be afraid to be canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's harder. I think for
Yeah.
women it's harder than for men.
It is much harder for
Still.
a woman because people still notice. I remember somebody once saying to me, "You don't need to be so adversarial." And I wasn't being adversarial. I was pointing out something that this man had done that was not okay, but I was being adversarial. Well, no, hang on. You've done something that's not okay. I'm pointing it out. I'm adversarial.
Exactly. All right. Well, it was an interesting conversation. It took a path I didn't expect, but I really hope folks can get something out of it. Guys, definitely follow Heather. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
leave the links down below the episode, and look for the community. Join us. Again, I'm definitely going to be there, because this is the blue ocean that we will need to explore and find our way, and it's way easier to do it together. So
Absolutely.
I inviting you folks to join Heather, follow her YouTube, 2 channels now. She decided to double her work.
I did.
And LinkedIn, so easy there. And Heather, I wish you all the best in both of your businesses, and I'll be there.
Thank you so much, Lydia. It's so exciting. And you
Super
too.
cool.